Maybe I think I'm adopted, Karan.
Maybe.
Maybe. You know, I'm almost Gen Z. I was very chubby as a kid, so I had to overcome my bodily fears back then only. And then slowly I moved into hip hop and then into contemporary. I believe that I always had a kida for acting. I remember holding like parachute coconut bottle as a kid. None of my family people are, I think, dancers. So I think I was gifted with natural movement. I see my mom dance, dad dancing. They were very bad dancers.
Are you a loser? Are you a freak? Do you need a lover? Don't talk to me. Don't talk to me. Don't bother me.
Welcome to Real Struggles, where we talk to real filmmakers and actors about their struggles working in the chaotic world of films. Today our guest is actor and dancer Abhignya, and Abhignya and me know each other now for a little time. I was a AD on a project she was acting in. The show never ended up releasing. And after that, we did a small photo shoot together. And now she's here to help me make another bad episode of the show.
Hey, yeah, no, it's gonna be an amazing episode.
Is this the best one? Going to be the best one?
I am sure. I have an amazing feeling about it. And tracking back, your contact name is still like Karan AD Hotstar. Oh my God. I remember because that was the contact Saad forwarded. So, वैसे save किया था.
Yeah. You've been acting now since 2019, you were saying, no?
Yeah, 2019.
And before that, did you have a kida for acting, or like was it just something that just happened? How did it happen?
I believe that I always had a kida for acting. I remember holding like parachute coconut bottle as a kid and stand in front of the mirror saying that thanks to my mom and dad, I was amazing. Thanks to my directors and all of that. I was practicing my I forward speech. As far as I remember, I've always had this kida in me, but I never really had the guts to pursue it per se, or neither did I have the guidance. And you know the typical Indian student story, take up engineering or like medicine. So I took up engineering and I did so many jobs, Karan, you don't know. As a part-timer also, I was organizing Sangeets. I was a dance choreographer for Sangeets. As a kid only, I think I was 15, 16? And I met typical uncle aunties and I used to mahal aise banati thi. Why though? But eventually what I realized is that I really liked performing in front of people. So any opportunity that was close to that, I tried grabbing it and, made money out of it, pocket money, because the pocket money my mom and dad gave me was hardly anything. And the kind of friends I had, they would spend so much and I had to work a lot. And nothing really gave me that satisfaction. Everybody used to appreciate me for my dance. I was also a fitness instructor, so everybody really enjoyed my sessions. I was the youngest in the lot taking sessions. Nothing really gave me, it used to pay me a lot. I remember I was doing 3-4 jobs in a day.
Did you make more money doing that or acting?
More money than now, I remember. So maybe more like a good, just a 60,000 through one firm. And it was quite a lot for a young girl. And I had a ball. And then eventually I had just 2 days in that week. And I ended up shooting for my YouTube channel also, which was like a lifestyle channel back then. So I used to shoot travel vlogs and all of that. Everybody around me supported me at that point. They knew that I had some potential. Nobody saw it coming, I guess. Nobody saw that acting thing popping up. But one fine day, I was in the burnout phase. I'm like, chaddo. Like, main nahi kar rahi kuch. And I just sat down. I'm like, I'm not liking what I'm doing. There's something missing. That's why I just left everything, took a week off. Met someone from my friend's circle who was working as a business analyst. We used to get all contacts from this media firm called Chai Biscuit. Then he said, why don't you try? Because you're doing YouTube anyways. Why don't you go try there? And that's when I got into Chai Biscuit. They gave me a separate YouTube channel for myself. I had so much creative freedom and I enjoyed it. Though it paid me decent, not as good as I used to get paid. I enjoyed it. I remember the sleeps I had. I remember the feeling I had being in front of camera was just so moving. I knew that I had it in me to move people and I was meant to do this. And it was so beautiful that I rediscover myself every day in front of camera. I was never this confident. I hated, having conversations with people and like putting that facade. But this just like put me in a very meditative zone. Then whoever came, it didn't really matter. Whoever was asking me like, why are you doing acting and all. Now I don't care also. Back then I never cared to give them the explanation as to why this is making me happy. That's me. And then I slowly picked up writing in Chai Biscuit and now here.
So wait, then what was your YouTube channel on Chai Biscuit? What kind of videos would you make?
So there were several baby channels for Chai Biscuit. There was Girl Formula, there was Boy Formula. We were making sketch videos for these two channels. And my own channel was called Kirak Style, which was a fashion channel. And I give fashion advices to both men and mostly men and women. So that's USP was a girl sitting and telling how we women like men in which ways, both lifestyle and fashion wise. And I remember it was a bomb back then. It was the first YouTube channel in Telugu of its kind.
Okay.
Yeah.
When did you start like figuring out how to act? Like it's a
Yeah. I never
craft,
really.
right?
Yeah, it's definitely a craft. But also, I feel some of us have it in them very naturally. Especially, I feel most of the dancers can act. Because as dancers, when your body is so aligned with music and you're able to move with that finesse and grace, and there's so many dance forms as well, right? That can channel different points in you. Let's say there's contemporary, it's so flowy and like movement wise. There's hip hop that's like very strong and masculine. As dancers, you're already very artsy. As a dancer, you'll be artsy. But for me, in my case, dancing helped a lot to overcome that stage fright or working up on the facial muscles and way to tone it down and not. I never really had a professional training per se, but whatever I learned was from online. I consumed so much knowledge online. I used to attend so many master classes online. And that's where my professional training came from. And I also good and a bad thing with online, putting forth sketch videos online is that you're constantly in touch with people who comment down your videos saying that
so you know
you're doing
what's
that.
working
Yeah.
and what's not.
What's not working. And I remember like I don't see their hate comments, they're comments that are actually a little critical too. Like you know, hey, you have this potential. This is a little too much for this. I remember I was in one of the sketch videos and I was the best friend. I was making all faces that were like not very comfortable in my zone. I was someone's mind body. So if you're thinking, I'm your mind in a physical form. So I had the slang and I had to work on that slang. It's Andhra slang. I'm not very well versed with it. And I had to learn that. And I put it and I felt like it was too over the top for me. But then I remember the comments were flooded like, Abhignya, you're out of the zone. You're doing great. Amazing. So this constant feedback was also a teacher for me. And eventually I feel at the end of the day as actors, you're also good critics. If you're a good actor, you're automatically a good critic. You can like look at someone's work and say, hey, you know what, this is nice in you. Maybe this could be something I can use it for myself. So it was very like absorbent of me to learn anything that was around me as a teacher for my craft.
So the dancing was you've been doing it since a kid or what? Like you went for like classes and learned.
Yeah,
like, you
so
do like classical Indian dance.
It started off with classical Indian dance, Kuchipudi. From 4th to 10th, I was learning Kuchipudi. I was performing Kuchipudi. I was very chubby as a kid, so I had to overcome my, bodily fears back then only. And then slowly I moved into hip hop and then into contemporary and then into street style. And then I paused for a bit and then moved into being a fitness instructor.
So did you have to like get like certified to be a fitness instructor?
Yeah.
So you've like done like all kinds of random things before ending up over here.
I have. And then there's a wall in my home that has all these certificates. There's a Zumba B1 training, Zumba B2 training, Bolly Beats training, nutritionist training. I had anything was.
But did you want to do it as a kid, like get into dancing, or like something your parents thought was a good hobby for you to take up, or how did it work?
None of my family people are, I think, dancers. So I think I was gifted with the movement, natural movement. I see my mom dancing, my dad dancing. They were very bad dancers. So I think it was just a gift that I wanted to pursue.
So dancing isn't genetic.
It wasn't genetic. I think it's a gift.
Or are you adopted? Which one is it?
I think so too. My sister says that, Kara, don't say this to me. Maybe I think I'm adopted, Kara.
Maybe.
Maybe.
So YouTube was a big way for you to even probably build your online presence and stuff, right?
Sure. It was very monumental.
Did that help you like get recognized in terms of getting acting roles in a larger fiction space, like either short films or like a web series or a film? How did that transition happen? Was it because of the following you were gaining on social media that people had more access to you, or how?
It's a boon and a bane, Karan, because I remember when I just started YouTube and it was at a right point in Chai Biscuit and I was a new face and the amount of recognition and people coming at me was so overwhelming and nice. I really enjoyed it. But then it also opened so many doors for so many opinions. Back then they were like, don't do so many videos. Just do 2 or 3 good enough and then jump into movies. And when I tried doing that, nobody really recognized me to give that role to me. Then they said, you gain a certain following on Instagram. If you reach that mark, you'll be famous enough to be casted somewhere. And now I did so and so videos, so many amount of videos. Now when I go for auditions, they're like, oh, you're too famous to be taken. So I'm like, kahan jaun main? You asked me to like do so and so. And I ended up doing more than like 200 videos maybe on YouTube. And after a point, I remember casting directors coming to me and say that, we saw you too much on YouTube now. It's tough for us to imagine you on like a larger screen. But that's your imagination.
Yeah,
problem,
that's
bro.
your problem.
It's got nothing to do with me. It's now something that I know. But back then, I used to just listen.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
And they have that obsession with fresh face.
What's a fresh face? I have a fresh face.
No, I mean, what is a fresh face? Like, don't you want someone who can like deliver at the end of the day?
I know, make your work easy.
Yeah.
Someone who's well-rounded. No, they want the task to be as difficult as it
But
could
that's also probably because the writing roles where you just have to stand in the background and like get catcalled on occasion and then fall in love.
I think so too. And
So-
I've had the most weirdest opinions coming at me back then, especially when I was going for auditions. I was clueless. You say I need to have like, let's say 100K plus followers. I've had them. Now you say you have too many followers. I remember one of my own friends who was a producer telling me that, look at these content creators. They have so much following. It's easy to cast them. And goes out and makes a movie. And by then I had decent following. Says that no, but they're too famous. I think I'll cast a fresh face. So what is this oxymoron statement that we're throwing everywhere?
I think initially everyone wants someone with a big social media presence and they think about how much they have to pay them and then they say, fresh face.
I know. I think these are the reasons why they can't reject gracefully, right?
Yeah,
At the end of the day, it's a project and either you fit into it or you don't.
correct.
But how you deal with the person, like you took time, you called them over, you took their time, you auditioned them, and you can say that, like, hey, you know what? We are not aligned. I don't imagine, I don't see you fit into the role. We can work later. That's a decent way to reject.
Yeah.
But that's also a tough way, apparently. So a lot of people say that, hey, you know what? You're too tall for this role. Your skin is maybe not meeting the right color. Your hair is too short. You're too famous. Later is when I realized that a lot of producers, even my producer friend said that, like, what? You're famous. He just humbled me down like, you're famous. You're not famous. It's just reason to reject you. So just like, when right time comes, it comes. Just keep walking.
I don't think you can ever understand why people decide to do whatever they do. But so then when you were younger though, you said you were into performance and you did all this. Did you even take part in like school plays or had extracurriculars in another artistic space, or was it mainly in dancing?
I did very amazing roles in my schooling. Mostly a lot of artistic stuff. Like I was a tree in a play. And that's the most
That was your script.
involvement in a script. Because I think in my lot also back then I was tall in my batch. So to be that or this, it was very tough to place me. So they placed me
As a tree.
as a tree. But my Kuchipudi dancer, a teacher, she saw amazing potential in me, Raniness. She used to always tell that, take the remedial period off, come and train with me, dance, you have it. And I remember when I was reaching high school, my body was changing, my face was changing, and she always believed the craft in me, and she used to always place me in the front. Like being in the front as a Kuchipudi dancer is a big achievement. And yeah, I think only influence from school as a part of the art would be only dancing, classical dancing. There was never active theatre place though, but I did write scripts for a lot of plays in the school.
Oh, so you enjoyed writing even back then?
Yeah. I remember creating these choreographies and like Independence Day theme dance musicals. I was full on Sanjay Leela Bhansali. I made sure that like whatever things we were presenting had music in it. There's a death in it, or there's a serial thing going on. And the payoff will be like, chalo, this is the climax. Full dramatic.
And was this something that you were encouraged to do from your own family side, or something that you like did on your own? Like, were they supportive of you wanting to do these things growing up, or was it more about like, you got to study, you got to do this? What was that like?
No, my family was always inclined towards studies only. They encouraged me into dancing, they encouraged me into sports and all because I was heavy and they wanted me to lose weight probably and like make more friends. But my mom also, I think, kind of supported me with extracurriculars only to a point, you know, like the typical parents were like, chalo dance karke dikhana. Until then, it's nice. So they pushed me towards arts only as a part of extracurriculum. They never really wanted me to pursue it as a career option per se. And I was about to do my PhD, by the way. I was supposed to leave India because I was conditioned into, like, you know, you have to study, research, you have these brains, so, like, you know, make money out of it
PhD
and all that. PhD in biochemistry, which was very tough.
Oh, what was your research going to be about?
So it was around nutrition. We were doing around protein.
Okay.
Extraction out of whey, and there was natural and synthetic food analysis as well. So it was basically around biochemistry and nutrition.
Okay.
My master's, however, was in biotechnology.
Oh, so you finished your master's, then you got into this YouTube thing after all of this?
After masters, right after masters.
And before that, did you have any idea you'd be doing this for a living or anything like this?
No, I think I saw it coming. I knew that I was made to be in front of camera some way or the other. I was only dreaming that I will be drinking coffee in one cafe, and one director will pick me in the cafe. And or like maybe I was dancing somewhere and I get picked.
Then you see your following on Instagram.
Yeah, and out of nowhere I will be the star, and that was my calling. But the journey could be different.
So that was like the early part of when things started for you. And from there, like, what do you think you got out? I mean, you said you got a lot of like comfort with your own body and moving around in front of a camera or like performing because of dance. But how did the understanding of a scene come in for you? Because with trained actors and untrained actors, look at scripts in two different ways. They may deliver the same quality of performance, but how, as an untrained actor, when you look at a script or when you get an audition, how do you break down the character's motivations, try and understand what do you draw from it? How do you put your own ideas into it?
I think a lot of acting also comes from real life experiences, no? Like your hands-on experience with, let's say your friend is going through a breakup, or like one of your friends is not able to pay for their education. It's either derived from your real life experiences that will trigger certain emotions in you, and then you can translate it in front of the camera. That was mostly for me.
So you can empathize well with people.
Yeah, I can.
Like if for example, I cut my hand off like in a terrible accident, would you be able to feel my pain?
Not as much as
Not the physical pain, but
definitely.
like
Of course, I can, and then I will to a level where I can go to a place where I would want to save you. I would want to have your arm back. That empathy has always been there in me. And that way, like when a character comes to me and I break down, right? This is when my master classes also help. I've taken this masterclass from Natalie Portman, and
Oh, during COVID, did you do it?
I have done that.
Even did you carry the one during COVID?
I have, and I have notes of videos.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
before going to any set, I end up reading it, and the amount of power and like that grace she carries while she's talking is amazing. So she's definitely on my vision board, though. So that also helps me when you're naturally empathetic, when you naturally already have those emotions. It's only like one trigger away to like channel it. So for me, breaking down, especially Indian characters, are easy because I've had like a lower middle class experience already. And now in a place where like I know that if you're feeling something, these are the things you can do. So experienced rich people, if given good confidence and screen presence, I think they're
Yeah, I think life experiences is what kind of makes you a better actor also, right? Because I think one of my other guests, she's an acting teacher. Her episode's coming out this week. So she was saying, I was asking her a question about what do you think a 15-year-old should do when they are trying to become an actor? She said, live life and read books.
Yeah.
She said, like, if you don't have experiences, what are you going to
exactly
understand of other characters? Or if you don't meet people who experience things, how are you going to... So... And at the same time, people have this thing with children. Like, I have a very difficult time with working with kids, especially when it comes to getting them to act. And a lot of directors also don't want to direct kids because of their level of patience. So
I
they'll
know.
leave it to the ADs to you handle it. And it's honestly the most exhausting job in the world. But somehow you have these kids who have no idea what they're doing, but they do it so well. And then you have these kids who are so terrible. So
you can't.
and you can't even understand from them what their process is.
There's no process.
Yeah, but then some of them are just so good at what they do without understanding how, like, because I'm sure you must have did this in your master class where you kind of have a need and a want in a scene and you're trying to discover your objective through the course of the thing. Now, when you were doing your earlier roles, was it pre-masterclass or post-masterclass? Like, how did that also change?
So my earlier roles, which were sketch videos, they were pre-masterclass. I did not attend masterclass. It was very on the rim. Like, it was not... It was fun to watch, but it lacked that volume inside when you portray a character, right? Jaan honi chahiye isme. There needs to be that person there. I think there was a little missing. But because sketch videos are not...
Correct. It's a different kind of art together. It's not
fun.
your typical acting. It's like what SNL and all these places do.
Yeah,
Like,
it's fun. Even the environment. I got this beautiful opportunity to work with young boys around me. So it was mostly fun and like very spontaneity. And mostly to do
wait,
reactions.
how young are we talking? Not something that will land you in jail or anything.
Gen Z.
Okay.
That's fun. Young, cara.
Not that young. Okay, cool.
Where post masterclass, it definitely changed so many things in me. I can like articulate these. You understand techniques also. Masterclass is not just about acting. It's about
Correct.
other things that make an actor actor. Right? So I understood that. How can you make it an easier job for other hardworking people in the set, so that they cast you again. So those are the little things that I learned from the masterclass.
Yeah, and also I think experience also is a great masterclass, right? Because even if you are only doing sketch comedy or like sketches, you still understand your angles, you still understand what framing is, you still understand the
If
kind
you
of...
need a nose job or not.
No, not that necessarily. Like even like speed. Like for example, when you're talking and walking, you may talk at a different speed. Now, if the camera is walking with you, you can maintain that speed. But if the camera is static or it's panning with you, you have to change your speed. That kind, like those kind of technical things only are learned on set, like giving eye lines. Now, for example, we are looking at each other directly, but if there was not enough space over here behind me and I had to take your close up, I'd have to probably sit in a slightly different angle, adjust the camera at a different angle. And some actors may not be able to give dialogues without looking at the person. And all this kind of only happens through practice. And I guess that also was a... what did you pick out from, I guess, doing that part of...
Definitely the camera angles. I remember after like shooting for a year, there was COVID and I had to shoot at home. So I was only recording, I was sending them drafts and all of that. So I knew the angles. I know what was the 180-degree rule. And I knew that for an editor, if it was a long shot, it's easier to shoot a long shot first and finish off the lines.
Yeah.
So even if you like
fuck up the close-ups. Yeah.
Even if you change the lines in a long shot, you can adjust them in the close
Correct. Yeah.
frame. And then all these cheat shots also is something that I learned. I learned how my skin color is different in different lights. So like, especially with my skin tone, right? If you see, I may look a certain way in the podcast, but if you check my other videos, I look different. So brown skin tone is such a beauty that like with light, it changes
Correct.
a certain way. And these things are very essential for a character as well. Let's say I'm playing a girl with a rural background. I need to look a certain way. So the angles need to be a certain way. The light needs to be a certain way. And these are the things I definitely picked up only with practical experience.
Mm-hmm.
Even with clothing, right? What was so jugadu filmmakers we were back then.
Yeah.
There was no budget at all. So ghar se kapde la ke pehna hoga. So you have to write down the styling of the character as well.
Oh, so you were in charge of everything from like the planning of what is going to be shot, performing in it, getting it shot. Everything was under your...
No, not everything.
Okay.
Not always everything. Sometimes we used to just sit in the office and shoot off also.
Okay.
After a point, we did have an LP who was taking care of like all of this thing. But it was my interest. Though I was playing a certain girl's role, I didn't want, because I was doing so many videos, I didn't want to look the same in every video also.
Yeah.
So I had to just sit down and write like, maybe add a jacket, change the hairstyle. I used to have this like hairstyle that just cover half of my forehead. So, and that used to cover half of my face. So all these things I had to work on the physicality and how I used to walk in front of the camera. If I have to slouch at this particular point, so I'm feeling underconfident. I remember playing this girl's role who was very introverted and comes from a very, a little very Telugu, very, poised character, and it was not me at all. And I had to walk a certain way. So I had to check so many takes to like, not make an eye contact and just like be straight and be confused all the time. And suddenly pick up the confidence to talk and then I'll make go. So these are the things automatically that happen when you look into the frame and move around it.
How do auditions work in Hyderabad?
It's a very weird scene, and also it's a very quickly changing scene. It's not the same when I started off auditioning. Earlier, it used to be a very close-knit circle where everybody has your number. I don't know how they had my number, but like number goes on into the circles. And the ADs used to reach out to me, and I used to meet the AD, and then you give an audition, then you meet the director. They're going to narrate the script to you, and it's your call to take. That was back in 2019 and 2020. During Corona, everything was very online. So you have to shoot your profile, send in the audition, and they select it.
Reality shows a good market.
It is a very good market. It's a fun market.
Are you going to go on Big Boss?
No.
Have they called you?
So last year, Telugu Big Boss, I don't know, they did not reach out to me directly. But I remember one of my friends, close-knit people, talking about they might come to you. Do you want to consider it? Tab to main keh rahi thi, chalo dekhte hain. And then I took advice from my friends also. But I feel like I have time for reality show.
Like what your struggles have been in terms of like from when you started off to now, like what have been like the most difficult part of breaking into acting?
See, acting careers are tough. Like Vijay Verma said, careers are tough, but acting is fun. So once the role lands you, like you have a role, it's fun to like be that person because there's so many people helping you become that character. But the process is tough. So for me right now, like what are the struggles is the process. I think I'm still I place myself as a struggling actor.
But I think struggle is a very relative term, no? Like struggle will always be there, whatever level of success you reach.
Correct.
But in terms of your own personal journey, like what has been the tough part? Like for example, my tough part was initially like getting money from people, producers. Another problem I faced was not being able to get my scripts mounted, or not being able to pitch it, or sending it and not getting replies. It's like basically when you send an audition and no one gets back to you if you got the audition. Like these things, or also like people management, dealing with different types of egos on set. Dealing with different egos off set also of people who work in films. So these have been like my personal struggles. But for you, what have been those things that have kind of made it a harder journey?
Yeah, I feel it is still a harder journey. Like, and as much as you say that like struggle is still a relative term, you can always like generalize something to understand it better, right? Until like you have 2-3 films signed, you do not make it to the theatrical scene. Like we see films in the place of theater only. Like all of us, we love authentic theater films. I did not make it yet.
And also, what about dealing with people treatment? What about like cracking work and finding work?
It's so tough. That's what I'm still cracking. People, like, if I ask for payment and if I say no, I'm suddenly attitude driven. Like, she has a very like off attitude. We don't know how to cast her. But you just have to pay me on time and like sit with me, give me the right amount of attention, and not treat me as like someone who comes and goes. Just give me respect and time, and then I'm gonna give you the work that you will not see. That much I know. I know I can submit myself to the process, and it comes at a cost.
Yeah.
So, and the cost is not finances; it's the way you treat me. So I'm still cracking it, and right now I'm just being my authentic self. I know what I bring it to the table. Earlier it was very tough to. I used to think that I have to make connections. I have to be friends with people that I'm uncomfortable with to get that role, land that project. But now I don't take it too seriously.
But is that true though? That you have to.
Yeah, it helps a lot to have connections. I know a lot of friends who are friends of friends. We used to style people and now actors. So connections anyways help. You know, if I like, and it's nice to it's always fun to work with people, you know. Yeah, so it's everybody's vision. Some people want to have fun on the set. That's why they want to like work with only certain people. Some people want like crafty, artsy stuff, and then they look hunting like that. Yeah, so as much as I know of now, as much as I observe this connection, it's something that takes you a long way.
No, that's a good point because even like a lot of people tell me that I need to do that, but I can't. Be
Actually, I feel it's like again on the longevity, right?
Yeah.
I want to be known for my craft, and if you have that art, I think universe will meet you at some point, and you will thrive longer. Versus making connections and you don't have that thing in you, it can't last longer.
You can't rely on one of those things. You have to either do both or that's both things. If you do only one thing, the other thing will take longer to achieve.
Of course. And I feel also never force a connection. Connections are supposed to happen organically and they last longer. It's fun to hang out with your tribe. And it's important to find your tribe and not compromise on.
And also, I feel like if your people know you're trying to make a connection with them for who they are, they automatically like turned off.
They're turned off, and some people take advantage of it.
Yeah.
It's either that or this. Like if you're trying too hard to be their friend, they see you as this like sheep to like, okay, no, now I am going to pick on her. It's gonna be like,
Yeah. But also, what makes you want to continue dealing with these people, or like, I mean, like dealing with these uncomfortable situations, and like, how do you deal with it that makes it easier for you?
I only look at the bright side. All of us want to do that. Like, if you want something so big, it comes at a cost, I feel. This process is so tough. Only when you cross this is when you earn that respect. So, I think bigger the struggle, bigger the story, bigger the person you become. I'm looking at the cherry on top where I get all the love. I'm representing all these people at some place. There's stories, there's struggles, the beauty of association and that, you know, relatability and how we treat actors in this country. Like, amazing actors, the love that they get. And that keeps you going, right? Someday, all of us crave for that.
But do you have any fears that if that doesn't happen for you, do you think you'll be unhappy, or is that not something you think of? Like you work out like scenarios in your head, like this could happen, this could happen, this could happen, like good, bad, the ugly, everything.
I don't think there's anything bad, no? Everything happens for
everything happens for a reason, and in retrospect, even bad things don't seem like bad things years later.
So many projects that I said no to, I cried. I come back home and like, why did I say no to this? Is such a cute hero. Like I would have like been placed nicely, but it's still a character role. I said no to a lot of films and I ended up regretting right after I said no to them. And on a retrospect, like now you said, after 2 years, thank God I did not do them because they were not good for me. You know, I'm only like, I know my potential. Like I want to expand and become something else. And something that doesn't satisfy you creatively, you can't stay there.
So do you think you'd be happy if you got to do the roles you could choose and like have a creative fulfillment for the rest of your life, or would you choose a life of like superstardom
Both? Why do I have to choose?
if you had to choose one?
No. It's both. I feel creative satisfaction will give you that stardom. I don't know any of these creatively rich people not becoming stars. I think it's only and I think that is only stardom. No, art is star.
But it depends on what you consider a star. Like, is Shah Rukh Khan a star? Yeah. Is Nawazuddin Siddiqui a star? He's not a Shah Rukh Khan star, though, no?
Yeah.
So it depends on what you think of stardom. Like, also,
Well,
like they're
it's
both
relative
very
to, like, yeah.
successful people and they're both talented people, but their type of stardom is very, very different. Yeah.
And I don't think there will be any other Shah Rukh Khan one. I think it's an end of an era. I don't think us as audience are also changing. We won't see that kind of...
Yeah, though they don't make those kind of movies anymore. The audiences don't... I mean, you may have that kind of stardom still in the South, though, because those kind of movies are still around and doing very well.
But the change is coming, no? It's here to stay, too. Like
I think Kannada and Telugu still haven't moved that far away from that kind of cinema. Even Tamil films, like, you do have a lot of, like...
devoted towards your star mentality, no?
And also devoted towards like a good film like Super Deluxe. Like, you have fantastic actors in it, you have a great cast, but it's not a star-driven film.
But Vijay Sethupathi is a star, like they kind of...
But is he a star? No, he's like...
It's not like let's say another Vijay, no?
Yeah. And then you had like your movie like Jallikattu. I think that's Malayali, though.
Malayalam, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, like, those are not like, those are films that are driven by the film, not by the, so audiences in these, I think Tamil Nadu and Kerala at least are slowly moving away from that. Bombay is like, they don't know where they are. They're still trying to make, I don't know, they're trying to make Telugu films now.
Yeah.
And doing it really
they're
badly.
Experimenting.
Yeah, they're doing it really badly. Just use the Telugu film, no? It's made.
Might as well, yeah.
Yeah, it's made and like anyway that, or like Allu Arjun is a bigger star in UP than most Hindi actors.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the other day I was looking at the Bihar posters on the auto. Yeah, Allu Arjun like this. I'm like, wow, we've come a long way.
Yeah, he's like super popular in UP. Like a lot of these North Indian friends I have from like other cities only know him. And like, because I think a lot of movies also play on Sony Max.
I know. Earlier it was Nagarjuna.
Yeah.
Nagarjuna sir's films were playing Meri Jung.
Yeah. Meri Jung is Dawn, I think.
Yeah, I think.
No, that's Dawn #1. Mass is Meri Jung, I think.
Yes.
What kind of advice do you have for people, aspiring actors who want to break into Telugu films? Male, female, whatever.
One advice if I would have gotten would have helped me is something I would give, which is see this as a process. See this as only work. Then dedicate your time there and also build life around it. Don't just go into it and attach yourself too desperately into it. Or not just acting, I feel when you're too completely attached, too much, submissions happening, the chances are the way out is tough. So when you see there's the right amount of detachment, there's the right amount of, this is work, I want to give it 100%. But when it's off, I have other things to do too. It will make you a better person. You have a richer life. And this will again indeed help your craft. So see it as a process. It doesn't come like any degree where you spend 4 years and then you get a degree. It's not going to be like that. Treat it as like a medical exam. Probably you keep writing exams forever, right? Until you become a doctor. And after that also you have to keep working 24 hours.
Yeah.
So treat it like something that keeps on going. There is no end point.
Like kind of find a way to make it sustainable for your own mental health.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's something I think a lot of people are starting out, they get so obsessive with wanting to do it and impress that they forget their friends, they forget their lives outside this, they forget what they were interested in. A lot of people I know who want to become filmmakers have stopped watching movies because they don't have time to watch movies.
I know I don't watch movies either of late.
But is that something that you had to realize the hard way though?
I have, yeah. I was too attached to it, and every small thing used to disappoint me, and I used to not spend quality time with my people who were actually craving only some like 4 minutes. I used to just like rant about how the audition went and how my bad experiences were in the set and how people treat me. These were just conversations. It was just all about me. And
Like what bad experiences?
just the same things that I spoke, right? You go to the set, and then let's say the kind of treatment, there's a definite hierarchy inside. And for someone like me who believes in equality and like justice and like let's treat everybody equal and all of that, it gets into your head. And then as an actor who's so emotionally rich, chances are you get affected by anything or everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel that definitely came in my way of connecting and creating a life that was so good already. Like I had so many art forms that required me to, like, let's say dancing and meeting friends, physical activities that were so fun too. And I used to just work out and just think of, oh, where does my next step go in and all of that. It gets into your process, and it's, I feel, quite unnecessary because these are the decisions that are made by other people.
Yeah.
You can't make someone choose you.
Yeah.
It can only happen to you.
But is it something that you were putting pressure on yourself on, or was it external pressure that you were facing that would make you feel this way?
Definitely external pressure too, because we live in a age where like everything is digitalized. So you keep scrolling, you see your friends doing well, and all of us only post good things on the gram. So if someone else, so all our timings are so different. Like my May is so good, my March can't be so good. Someone else's March is good. So, but we only look at good things. So if I post, that's why I stopped posting my achievements on Instagram as well. I don't celebrate them anymore because the people who follow me are these people who are probably going through something, and I don't want to overshare and make other people feel that they're not enough. Because I've been there. I've seen one of my friends doing really good, and then I used to think, oh, apna time kab aayega? Like it'll come in your own time. You can't compare and like sit and put that onto you. So it's both external and internal as well, because you come with deadlines. We as kids, we have midterm, we have annual exams. After a year, you progress. So we are sectioned like this. So we expect acting
Life
careers
to
to
be
be
like that
like that.
also,
Like
yeah.
maybe in a year we'll be there. Maybe it'll take 5 years. Maybe it'll take 1 month. Don't just come with a timeline. Be
Yeah.
open, free, flowing.
Yeah, find satisfaction and happiness in what you're doing in a way, right?
Yeah, even if you're doing, if we're doing this podcast right now, we need to have fun, because if you can't have fun in one, you can't have fun at 100.
Yeah.
If you're like crushed at one in itself, you wouldn't know how to enjoy your 100.
And any parting words of wisdom for your fans?
Nothing. Have fun. Like, share, subscribe to Real Strugglers.
So like, share, subscribe, and follow Abhignya and support her talent.
Thank you, please.